Enzymatic activities. First, let's take a look at the active center of an enzyme. Active center is a cavity on the enzyme surface that binds a substrate or substrates and serves as a reaction site. Local conformational physical or chemical changes in and surrounding the active center generally take place accompanying the sequential reactions. After products are released, the active center restores its original state and becomes ready for catalyzing the second reaction. Enzyme specificity. The structural shape and the physical properties of the active center must be made in a way to give a specific docking environment for the substrate binding. Allosteric effects. If an enzyme has more than one active site binding a substrate at one active site induce global conformational changes of the enzyme molecule, making the rest of the active centers more favorable for substrate binding and catalysis. The example is hemoglobin. Hemoglobin has 4 subunits binding one oxygen to one subunit, induce conformational changes, making the rest of the subunits increasing binding affinity to the oxygen. Some enzymes have a regulatory binding site. Binding regulatory molecules at the regulatory site induce protein conformational changes, either activating or inhibiting the substrate binding at the active site. Enzyme activators, coenzymes, inhibitors, and proenzymes. Some enzymes are at inactive forms if they are not needed. The enzymes are activated when required by binding activator or coenzymes, or releasing a bound inhibitor, or by processing the proenzyme by removing the inhibitory peptide fragment. All right. Next, let's take a look at the environmental factors, temperature and pH. The effect of those factors on enzymatic activities. We have 2 curves here. One is the temperature. This x-axis is the temperature. The y-axis is the activity. You can see there's a curve. Normally, when temperature increase, the activity increase. Once it comes to the optimal temperature, the activity become maximum. Then it drops rapidly when temperature increases. For the human body, the optimal temperature is 37. This is a pH profile. Enzyme activity profile on pH is a bell shape, like the increase the activity with the pH increase once they come to the maximum at the optimal pH. After that, when pH increases, the activity decreases. It looks like a bell.